Yeah, I just got done talking to those guys, and everybody in the locker room had a lot to do with winning that game. It was a buy-in game in so many ways. We had to take Saturday off and gather ourselves a mandatory day off, and then Sunday, we spent a lot of time in the film room and really got down in the trenches of what we need to fix. And we probably spent an hour in there, and when we came out, and they responded. They responded in a really good way. I mean, I told them the approach and the energy and the enthusiasm and the way they transitioned from that loss, that's the type of mindset we're going to have. And we had 2 really good days of preparation. By no means was this a perfect game, but everybody bought into the game plan and figured out a way to win.
Questions?
Coach, what was the decision to start Overy tonight?
More of an analytics thing. We've really spent a lot of times trying to figure out the right lineup combinations, and from a defensive rebounding perspective, he gave us a lot more there than Seth did, and it looked like from our rotations we would be a lot more better suited with him starting and Seth coming off the bench and correcting some of these rotations, and because we have limited numbers to work with, so trying to figure out the right rotations from a substitution standpoint was probably the biggest factor in it. I told Seth after the game, I mean, he played 22 minutes. He's a great shooter. I need him to shoot. I mean, he didn't even get a field goal attempt up, but we need Seth, and we need Seth to bring that spark off the bench. So, when you go through loss, you try to analyze everything and try to fix things, and that was something I thought one piece I could try to play and see if it worked, and it seems like it did.
Coach, last Friday you guys had 32 3-point attempts. Tonight you had, I think it was 19. Is that more of you're trying to find and lower that number and not shoot as many? What's your?
No, not necessarily. They zoned us a lot last week. So we were getting a lot of good looks. It just the ball, it wasn't falling, and that's the way it works in the game of basketball sometimes. And I think the biggest difference from tonight compared to the Monmouth game is we saved a lot of legs on the defensive end with the zone, and I felt more comfortable with the zone this week than I did against Xander Rice. So it seemed to keep our legs fresh. So we were downhill and with pace and playing with pace on the offensive end, and everything seemed to be clicking a little better. So, yeah, we were shot at way more efficient, 8 for 19. I'll take that, every day of the week. You look at the box score, and the idea was to get Jesse as many touches as possible. He only got 6 field goal attempts, but he drew 10 fouls. And, he wasn't stellar from the line, but that's something he needs to rep out. So, we definitely, the game plan was to play through Jesse, and we need to do that as much as we can because we get a lot better looks when we go inside out.
Coach, along the lines of the zone, from a simplistic standpoint, what's it like teaching a 2-3 zone at West Virginia? Because that's been a dirty word in the past, the 2-3.
With Jesse, he's a natural back there. He spent 4 years in his zone, so we picked up a few things that we could just nailed down, and we didn't get overcomplicated by any means with it. We just wanted to pick 2 or 3 things, and most every kid's play 2-3 zone. So it's not like it's crazy unnatural, but there's things that he's given us that we can utilize, and we've kept it pretty simple. So the main thing is trying to navigate those ball screens when they set those ball screens, on those top guards. So that's probably the issue we can probably clean up the best.
It seemed like the 2-3 really, you probably played it more tonight than you have all season.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple guys we were worried about shooting us out of it, but for the most part, there were several kids out there that weren't even looking at the rim. So we were mindful of who to guard and who to back off of. So they executed really well. They were very attentive with the scouting report, and so those things are huge. And especially with these non-conference games where you only spend a couple days and all these faces are new. So once you get to conference play, guys know each other a lot better. So they locked in, they bought in, and that was a program win.
How much carries over from the point drop of past years in trying to teach some of that? I mean, I know the guards are different out front, but are there some principles, especially on the back line, that you can draw on as you're trying to put the 2-3 in?
Well, I mean, with Jesse, I mean, we can play him as high as possible, and with him quarterback and everything back there and communicating, that's his natural. So a lot of these zones and 2-3s, the guards will drop into the middle and cover the middle. And with him, with his length, he can step up almost to the free throw line. Those wings can back off and play passing lanes. But, you know, it always comes down to, it seems like in any defense you run, like how you guard the ball screen. So once teams start attacking you from a ball screen perspective, that's when it gets a little bit hairy in terms of being on the same page. And hopefully we can keep getting better and improving it. And it's probably something we're going to have to use, especially while we're in these times with a short bench.
When you thought Kerr was going to be your point guard, you were talking about trying to get shots out of him, that he doesn't like to shoot the ball. Apparently you got to do Kobe on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think from day one that he walked in to West Virginia and I watched him play, he's always been really steady. So you knew you could count on him, but you had to get more aggression out of him, and that's been a struggle. And for Kobe to be more aggressive and get that confidence, it's going to go a long ways for West Virginia men's basketball.
When you see the numbers from him, what means more, 19 points or 5 assists with 1 turnover?
I like them both. You know, it's 5 and 1's great, and I tell you what, it says he shot 17 field goals, but he got forced into 2 or 3 of those. So he's way more efficient than 7 for 17. He was more like 7 for 14, if the way I look at it.
Sumnick had his career high in minutes tonight, and he hit that 3 as the shot clock was going down. What can you speak on in terms of his contributions to the team?
I told those guys in the locker room, each one of those, their contributions are as big as any of them. Because if they come in there and I can get some, you know, a little carryover with some minutes, and I can rest Jesse, I can rest Quinn, that's going to be as effective for me as anything. And I'm not asking them; they don't have to score anything. They just got to, you know, be locked into what we're trying to do defensively, offensively, and be into it. And you know, that 3 was great. I mean, that got us going, and that allowed me to, you know, keep him out there. And like I said, I don't need him to score. I just need him to do the right things. And he needs reps, confidence. He just hasn't had a whole lot of chance to get reps, and we're working that in as we go.
You mentioned mentioned confidence. Josiah, what's it do for him to hit some of those shots? I know he struggled against Monmouth.
No, he was 1 for 11 against Monmouth, and that ain't who Josiah is. He's a heck of a lot better player than that. So 4 for 7, very efficient night for him, and plus 10. You know, he's been rebounding as well as anybody, and he continues to do so. I'm surprised to see he didn't have an offensive rebound, but it wasn't for lack of trying. He even tried to jump over a guy to go get one. So I love his effort, his enthusiasm. He buys into everything we do. He's a joy to coach. And so, you know, we get everybody on that same page, which we're getting there. It's a process. So we're behind the 8 ball and had to play catch up. But the chemistry's coming, and I told those guys, like I told you, you know, in film, I told them, hey, it didn't look like you guys liked each other out there that last game. And, you know, a couple of them came up to me and it's like, we have as close a knit team as any team I've ever been on. So they're close. We just gotta get that chemistry on the floor.
Coach, with Kobe's situation, obviously, Quinn's got 6 games left before he can come back. But did Kobe take a really big step forward, though, in his progress tonight? And obviously, when Kerr comes back, do you have decisions to make there if Kobe continues to play well?
No, I mean those are good decisions to have to make. We're getting him great experience. So if anybody's in foul trouble, it's the next guy up, or you know, you can play Kobe off the ball. You can use him to you know, go out and isolate some of those you know, smaller guards. And I look to do that several times. I even look to do it right out of the gate. He's got a big, strong, you know, aggressive body, and you can put him in the post. So, you know, he can have his way with you know, some of those smaller guards. So he gives you things, and that Kerr might not. Kerr's more of a he's going to get downhill and put the ball where it needs to be, and Kobe's more of a steady, not try to force too many things and take advantage of his size and strength. And if we get more aggressive with Kobe and get that confidence going, the sky's the limit.
You mentioned chemistry. A lot of times tonight there seemed to be a lot of cross-court passing. Is that more what this offense is supposed to look like when guys are finding those passes and making that extra pass?
I thought our spacing was better in terms of that, but we just need to – our timing's probably a little off. And you just talk about the cross-court passing. I think I have an idea of what you're talking about. We just need to utilize some more of the pressure release, especially when they're up there taking things away and we're – activating some of these things from half court, and when Jesse can step in there, and I think we did it one time, step up and catch and go downhill with those guards, that's a great pressure release.
What does 6 days off do for this team?
I think he's everything right now. Playing 3 games in 9 days with a short bench is, it's hard on those guys. So we'll take tomorrow off and go back at it on Thursday and Friday, and travel out on Saturday, and we'll figure out how we, get a game plan together and go to Florida, and we're going out there to, get that trophy.
Josh, you mentioned a lot leading up to this game, the worries about rebounding. And I know you weren't playing Kansas tonight or whatever, but what does it say that you had 5 guys with between 5 and 7 rebounds? And I mean, they're obviously going after it.
Yeah. We've been preaching it and preaching it and preaching it and drilling it as well. So to have that balance is certainly something that I love to see and help me sleep at night.
And the idea that you only had the 5 offensive rebounds, only 4 by players, but you only missed 22 shots.
Yeah, I would rather have more efficient field goal percentage than offensive rebounds. So our best offense is the ball going in the hole, not rebounding it and putting it in afterwards. So that's not our forte. I know it has been in the past. So I just want to be more of an efficient offensive, production is certainly what I prefer.
The better shooting tonight, a result of any adjustments, or was it just a matter of them getting?
I really think it had a lot to do with our defense. In the Monmouth game, I hit like 2 possessions of zone, and when those guys are gassed out there and chasing and trying to take things away and play our principles, it takes a toll on you on the offensive end. So the fact that we saved some legs on the defensive end really helped this team, especially with the the short bench like we keep talking about.
So the 2-3 could be
a staple.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. Nothing's off the table when you're trying to win games.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you.